Hello again. All right, let's get the second week started of March, right, with our unit looking at World War One effects, the Russian Revolution, for today and tomorrow. The tomorrow will be a little different. We will also have Miss Medina and Miss Ringwald joining us for our live class tomorrow, just so a heads up on that. And then finishing out the week and the marking period with World War One effects, Treaty of Versailles, so the treaty to end the world, to end all wars. Obviously, it didn't really work out. We'll look at why it's kind of a flawed document, and kind of look at that also at the end of World War II, how they look at the Treaty of Versailles and how they are ending World War II and try to do some things different. So to Friday, the 19th, is the last day of the marking period, and then we got our 3 days of boot camp, okay, to finish things out. All right. On today, March 15th, starting the causes of the Russian Revolution, which is also kind of seen as an effect of the World War One, because the Russian Revolution is going to take place in 1917. So kind of, through in the middle of World War One. All right, so as you read this, just a couple of just basic questions to answer. The Russian Revolution of 1917 was actually two revolutions. Don't really be confused by the February versus October. We're going to look at it overall, all encompassing. Two main people we should know about: Tsar Nicholas II and Vladimir Lenin. Okay, Tsar Nicholas II is the king, emperor of Russia, and Vladimir Lenin is the leader of the Bolsheviks, the political party that are going to take over and create the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, also commonly known as the USSR. Okay, so just basic bio information: where and when did the Russian Revolution take place? So that's like, right, 1917 in Russia, basic stuff like that. Okay. All right. So as you continue, what causes the Russian Revolution? You'll see there's some very basic ones in here, like poverty, massive losses of World War One. Okay. Poverty. Okay, so just basic stuff. Now, what you're going to do for the rest of today is today and tomorrow, look at three major causes. So, the lives of the peasants, of the poor people, is cause number one. Cause number two is working conditions in the factories and this event called Bloody Sunday, which here is a painting commemorating Bloody Sunday. You can see here are people gathered outside of the palace in St. Petersburg, and they were there to protest and demand more wages and really just bread and a little bit of um, say in the government. They wanted some representation, and they're met with bullets from the palace guards. Okay, so let's look at that, and then tomorrow, looking at Tsar Nicholas's military woes, or in particular how in the early 1900s, which we already kind of talked about a little bit, Russia right here, right, this big boxer loses a war in 1904 to the small upstart country Japan, and also in World War One are not doing well either, and really kind of getting their butts kicked. Finally, ending up with a look at Vladimir Lenin, looking again at Karl Marx and what he believed versus what Lenin believes. Okay, you have a short little, I think, a minute and 50 seconds of a quick little biography of Lenin to kind of help you answer these three questions. Okay, kind of just seeing, so there is the Russian Revolution, and how do we set up the new government? Let's go back and look at some of this a little bit. Okay, so cause number one, the peasants' lives. Okay, and as you are reading, please try to highlight what might make people angry and want to change the government. In 1861, Tsar Alexander II issued the Emancipation Manifesto, which was a document that freed all of the 23 million serfs in Russia. The newly freed serfs had no money to buy land, and most of them were forced to work in poor conditions, with little pay, without their most basic needs being met. By 1900, around 85% of the Russian people lived in the countryside and earned their living from agriculture. These peasants lived in extreme poverty and had become disgruntled with the government and the upper class who had money and owned the land. So here we probably want to highlight that. People are angry. People are disgruntled with the government and upper class that have lots of money. Okay. We also see that they are forced to work with little pay. In the summer of 1867, Praskovia Ivanovska, and her friend Galina Churaskaya went to work as agricultural laborers. The following are the sections of Praskovia's recollection of her time. At 4 in the morning, as the sun rays were just beginning to spill over the steppe, steppe is the flat land of Russia, the overseer would wake us, kicking the legs of those who wouldn't get up immediately. In the morning, we froze from the bitterly cold dew, which drenched our clothing up to the waist. Staggering along, still half asleep, we worked as automatically as robots, gradually warming up a bit. At 10, we returned to camp for breakfast, which lasted about half an hour. Despite the camp hubbub, some people preferred to nap instead of eating. Our food was of rather poor quality, very plain and unappetizing. That's definitely going to make people upset, right? If there's one thing we like, it's good food. And if we don't have it, we get cranky. In the morning, they cooked us watery gruel made from wheat and water and a dose of salt, or buckwheat dumplings as big as cobblestones. One or two of these would satisfy the hunger of even the greatest glutton. The meal was poured into a wooden trough from which you would pull the dumplings with long pointed splinters. We got the same modest fare for lunch and dinner. So as you keep reading, it's just all kind of like what this woman's day was like. Okay, so you can type in how long was the work day from dawn till dusk, whatever you find. Okay, here. I wish it could last for 16 hours, right? Busy season, there were no such limits to the workday. It could last as long as 16 hours. Hard labor, poor conditions, right? Kind of really just talk about all of it. And how did the working conditions add to peasant unrest before the Russian Revolution? So kind of think like just why are people mad? Why are people angry? Kind of a thing like that, right? Just continue on with it all. And I will see you guys on the live meet on Tuesday. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.